Welcome to r/EntitledParents. In today's stories, the EM domino effect at the water park. Entitled Mother breaks my $55,000 wheelchair. And an EK and EM from hell. What is up guys, I do hope you're well. If you do enjoy these Reddit stories, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe button, and maybe, just maybe, even that notification bell. And with that being said, let's get straight into it. Much love guys. Our first story is from Glad Singer. EM domino effect at the water park. You're all too smart to need a key for acronyms, right? So I was at a water park a couple of weeks ago with my girlfriend. We have season passes and go pretty regularly. It was one of the last chances to go before heading back to school, so we bit the bullet and went on a crowded Saturday. I'm talking lines so long you'd dry off from the last slide before getting on the next. EMs galore. We're in a line for a two-person ride, where both riders have to be over 48 inches and between 100 to 400 pounds total. One woman was a few people in front of us, with a tiny kid. He couldn't have been over 5 years old. We overheard her coaching the kid to stand on his tiptoes when the measure came up. Fast forward to them being at the front of the line, and it turns out the kid isn't even 48 inches tall, while on his toes. Lifeguard says EK can't ride. EM1 says, "What? We've been in this line for over 30 minutes. The lifeguard then says, "Your son isn't tall enough, mum. It's a safety thing." The EK is whining but no tears. "Mummy, I want to ride." EM says, "Look what you've done now. You made him cry. This is a back to school treat and you've ruined it." At this point a manager comes over and asks them to leave. The only way off the platform was either down the slide or back through the line, so EM had to go back past us. On the way out, she was dragging her son, who ran into a little girl, also definitely too short to ride, who stumbled and started crying, causing her EM to hop in. EM2 said, "Hey you, how dare you hurt my girl?" EM1 then says, "I didn't do anything to her. He did. Make him apologise now. My baby would never hurt anyone. Don't accuse him just because you can't watch your brat. How dare you? My daughter is an angel." EM then turns around and goes back up to the lifeguard. "There's a bitch in the line whose daughter is shorter than my son, and she's throwing accusations at my baby. If she gets to ride, I'm suing." The lifeguard then says, "Nobody too short to the ride will be allowed to ride, ma'am." And thus, EM1 left. We finally got our turn on the slide. When we got to the bottom, EM2 was storming off, daughter in tow. They go to the ice cream stand. We see this on our way to the wave pool. She cuts in front of the woman with 3 kids, setting off EM3. Didn't hear much that she yelled, because I was done with grown women screaming louder than their children, not including the domino effect, but EP, nonetheless. One man yelled at a lifeguard because his daughter couldn't bring her ice cream in the lazy river. Woman talks to multiple managers because her 2 kids combined are too heavy for a slide and says that they are fat shaming. One mum asked to share a private rentable cabana. They have fans, shade, TV, etc., with strangers getting pissy when they say no. Moral of the story, don't put multiple stressed parents in close proximity in 100-degree heat. Also, consider avoiding water parks on the weekends if you're able. I love that. That's so good that there's just multiple EMs going at each other. What entertainment value would that be, to be sat at the side of that pool, just sipping on a drink while watching that go down? Oh, it's like a dream for us. Our next story is from Wraith of Cain. EM broke my $55,000 wheelchair. Dear Entitled Mother, thank you so very much for your complete and utter lack of patience when getting on the bus, which resulted in breaking part of my $55,000 wheelchair and me needing to call the police for help. So I was on the bus tonight heading to a workshop that I was fairly excited for. Things were great until slightly before my stop when 2 adults got on, one with a toddler and the other wheeling a stroller. It is strict corporate policy that all strollers must be folded before brought onto the bus, but not enough drivers actually enforce it, and this was one of those monster Cadillac strollers to boot. Ian brought her unfolded stroller on the bus, and seeing the front entirely occupied by disabled people, including myself, decided to push past towards the back, only her behemoth of a stroller wouldn't fit in the space available, and she started ramming it along my wheelchair to plough it through. I said, "Hey, watch it!" EM keeps trying to squeeze through. I said, "Careful, I can feel you tugging on my stuff." EM doesn't stop. Finally she managed to push through and move back. I fumed for the next few blocks, pushed the button for my stop, turned on my wheelchair and got a left brake disconnected error. I tried again, repeated errors. Me, The next several minutes was spent with the bus driver pulled over, passengers getting mad at me for causing the delay, while I panicked trying to figure out how to get off the bus. Finally, a guy flipped my electric freewheel release switch on and off several times, and that managed to convince my chair to work for me to get off the bus, and about 15 feet away before my chair suddenly turned itself off. I turned it back on and it started throwing up a charger inhibit error, which is basically the error you get when you try to start moving when you're plugged into the wall outlet. The next hour was a progression of events that saw me sitting on the ground with the back of my chair opened up as I went through everything trying to figure out what the ever-loving F was going on. I even called the police because I wasn't sure how I'd be able to get home. My wheelchair repair company doesn't have after-hours service. In the end, I discovered that 2 different things had got disconnected, and when I fixed them, my chair started up just fine. The lovely officer helped me get the cover back on my chair, and more importantly, helped me safely back into my chair. I said F it, skipped the workshop and went home, showered the icky sidewalk off me and had a couple of beers. None of this would have happened if that entitled mother had just gotten 1 goddamn second to fold her stroller up, or, I don't know, stopped when I repeatedly asked her to. But no, she was far too important to do such basic crap like that. And yes, my wheelchair is actually $55,000. I know it sounds a lot, but given that according to order form, I just looked at the joystick cover and alone is $85, it doesn't surprise me at all. It has 3 different tilt/adjustment settings that drives the cost up enormously. I love shouting at people who drive too close to me that my wheelchair costs more than their car. Certainly costs more than my car. I think it costs like triple my car. But wow, how stupid do people have to be? And you're totally right, I'm assuming this is in the US from the currency you're using, but in the UK we have the same thing with disabled seats up at the front and like space for wheelchairs, and the driver never enforces them. It's so frustrating to actually watch it. You try and step in and ask them, look, someone's trying to get on the bus here who's got a wheelchair, and then you get ignored, and it's ridiculous that the bus driver does nothing about it. Surely it's somewhat their responsibility, but I don't know. I'm not a bus driver. Our next story is from Najineo, possibly. Personal life, what's that? My friend's dorm roommate is the EK from How, and EM is worse. This actually took place back in college and basically happened to my friend. She would hide out in my room to escape her overbearing roommate. To start, my college had off-site dorms, which I put in for. I have to say it was cool, but on the other hand, it was nerve-wracking considering the position I was put in. The dorm had a raffle for roommates, so I was placed, but lucky me, due to the odd numbers, I didn't get a roommate, so I had a huge room to myself. My friend, who I called Jamie, wasn't so lucky. She got an EK. Jamie originally came with her twin sister, but her sister actually was accepted at a college on the other side of Colorado, so darn. Jamie's roommate, as I said, was an EK, and also massively religious. Jamie said she preferred to change roommates because Jamie is black, and of course EK wanted to change to me. But no sooner as she saw my room, when she followed Jamie to my room, she said she didn't like me in the least. EK was pissed because I had war scrolls for my favourite anime. I mean seriously, this girl came to my room and started to dictate what I could and couldn't have on my walls in my room. She didn't get to switch, and Jamie borrowed a few wall scrolls which eventually I just gave her. So on our first Sunday, my only day off, at 4 AM, I get a knock on my door. I open the door and there was EK dragging a half awake Jamie. We have to go to church. Come on, get dressed. My mum is expecting us. For one, I did not agree to any of this, grabbed Jamie and slammed my door. All the while EK is yelling at us. Go by yourself, I yelled back and let Jamie use the spare bed in my room. EK went by herself, but damn, did we not get to the end of it. EK's mum decided to pay her visit on the same day my mum invited Jamie and I out for lunch. When 2 EMs meet, it is a disaster, especially when my mum already knew EM with the Park County Republicans in Colorado. This was going to be dangerous, so Jamie and I decided to leave before EM could track us down. Mum got the whole story and asked if we could shop with her, which meant we were going to be at Cherry Creek Mall all day. EK texted Jamie as we were replacing my phone, and we were telling her my mum was replacing my phone. We did everything to avoid EK. That was until we got to the restaurant, and who is there? EK and EM. Oh boy, did we have to hide. EM was blowing up that she didn't want her daughter hanging out with a Democrat's daughter. My mum just rolled her eyes and decided to take us to another restaurant. We also got a rare thing from my mum, an apology. Oh, and my mum tried to help us get Jamie to be my roommate. Sadly, it was 4 months into the semester. and it would not have worked. EK still tried to force us to go to church while we made Sundays our camp out in my room days. I was also lucky I didn't have EK in my honours classes, because apparently EK was an honours student. So to sum it up, EK tries to control 2 college students, and we had to make the best of it. We did have to rescue EK from a cult, but that is another dorm story. EM was also the least of our worries. My mum had to handle that woman, and trust me, that was a bad day in my small town. This happened between 2007 to 2008, so I'm no longer a college student, but Jamie and I still hang out. Yeah, it sounds like another crazy cult religious story. Anyway guys, if you did enjoy those entitled parent stories, please hit that like, that subscribe button, and maybe even that notification bell, and I will see you, possibly, in the next one. Much love guys.